Has anybody here not seen Silence of the Lambs, by the way? Subjective camera, when you started messing around with that, because I can remember you doing it. When you did Silence of the Lambs, you really took it to, you really kind of grabbed it, and it was a very serious part of that movie. It's not just like a shot into the lens. It's a probably 8 to 10 page scene into the lens.
The passion that he would get from actors, yeah, because he would also think of an actor to be in a part that no one would really think of, too, you know. And he was right, you know, Anthony Hopkins was not, you know, people wanted, who did they want of Lewis? They wanted Tommy Lee Jones, and who was the other actor? Gene Hackman, you know. Imagine a time when you had to fight for Anthony Hopkins. It was really, it's really true. Like, I'm gonna get Anthony Hopkins, and it was like a risk. And there was Jonathan. And then the kind of grand finale 1-2 punch of Silence of the Lambs suddenly coming along. That was like kind of the only movie that he'd made that made any money, right? That's beautiful. I mean, obviously, Silence of the Lambs, great movie. I was thinking about the idea that they had to put him in a glass instead of prison bars, because they knew they had all these scenes between Jodie Foster and between Clarice Starling and Hannibal Lecter, that if they had to shoot through these bars, it would be irritating. So they came up with this brilliant idea of having this kind of like glass. They're not doing it here, but one thing he does so well in that movie is having people talking to the camera. There's two things. I think there's the stories that he tells I really like. I like the characters. He's got really good girls. But visually, they just speak to me. The way he frames the shots, the music that he uses. It's a long list of things that I love about his work. There's always about 25 or 30 times when I'm making a movie where I stop and I just ask myself, well, how would Jonathan Demme do it? You know, I try and do it like that.
It's only kids. It's Alan Parker's first film. He wrote and directed it. But it's not just a kids movie, it's also a musical, and it's a gangster picture. So it's ticking every single box so far. I don't know what we're missing of things that are great. Well, no, it made perfect sense to me. It wasn't weird at all. It was heaven. It was everything I dreamed of. Tommy guns that shoot whipped cream pies. It was never weird to me at all. Performances across the board are terrific, whether it's Fat Sam, John Cassisi. Alan Parker talked about her and that she just had an inherent understanding of how films work, that it was kind of freakish. I suppose it could also be weird. A kid's too precocious to ask too many questions, but he said she just had this innate understanding of the cameras and the crew and the performance and what was needed. And he said it was magical to work with. I was singing My Name is Tallulah.
You were singing My Name is Tallulah.
Things starring kids generally are not well shot. You know, it kind of feels like they're just like herding cats and kind of filming them. But if this is beautifully photographed, as all of Alan Parker's films are, you can feel that it's somebody coming from advertising, you know, right. that generation of directors that came from the UK that were so good at shooting Ridley Scott, Adrian Lyne. But Alan is, to me, the fullest of them all, just because he was such a great writer as well. The story comes from the back of the vinyl record, where Alan Parker wrote some liner notes, and he expressed that he had written the script, and he needed somebody to write the songs, and who he really wanted was Paul Williams. I've read recently that, looking back at the film, Alan Parker and Paul Williams might have had a misunderstanding. If you read the same thing about Alan Parker, I guess, didn't want squeaky kids' voices, according to him, and then Paul Williams had done these demos, or maybe they were going to be demos, or maybe it was just the final recordings, but with adults singing the parts. And by the time Alan Parker got them to shoot, it was too late to change anything. I don't know what about it works. I couldn't even describe why I think it works, but it just does.